much of anything. I knew I was defined by what was between my legs. I didn't know what it was for. I didn't know what it could do, or what the men of the world seemed to want with it. But I knew that they wanted it. There was never a mistake about that.
In the beginning, I thought it was funny. In the beginning, I was flattered. All these boys listening to me, laughing at my jokes, all the attention. I was the center of their circle. They flirted, I flirted. I was free to do that, and it was fun. The air was warm that late summer night. Stars were bright and beautiful. I was giddy if not drunk. The mood was light. I was young. I was carefree. I was out. I was on. Then their hands were on me. They were still flirting, still laughing. I tried to keep the mood light, not overreact. I'll make a big deal out of nothing. But their hands were on me. I tried to make a joke as I brushed them away. Just a laugh, just a joke, just having fun. They were not laughing at the joke. They were laughing at me. I was the joke. I was not having fun.
Then it wasn't flattering. Then it was humiliating. I realized a moment too late, and the mood shifted so suddenly that once warm summer air became thick and hot as their bodies encircled mine. Their hands, so many hands were everywhere, over my jeans, over my shirt, around my waist. I was being lifted, effortlessly lifted and carried away easily by the largest of them, carried through the woods, away from those not part of this group.
Away from anyone who might care to stop them.
Carried until I was dropped without regard onto the ground.
In a small clearing. I was on my back. I could see the stars. They were still bright, still beautiful, and totally indifferent to the fact that everything else about the night had changed. Again, I was the center of the circle. This time I did not want to be. I was not giddy. I was not drunk. I was scared. I was disappointed.
I was embarrassed.
And then I was almost resigned to what I knew what was going to happen. At least now it made sense. Their attention, their flirting. At least now it was in familiar context.
They didn't actually like me. They only wanted to use me. This, at least, feels familiar. It's not like I hadn't had sex that I didn't want to have before. It is easier not to fight.
It is easier to just let it happen. It is easier, safer, and less horrible if I just convince myself that it doesn't mean anything. It is not important. If I could just pretend inside and out not to mind, I would be okay. You can't rape the willing. But that was only a brief thought, because as I glanced around me at the huge, drunk, stupid men surrounding me, I knew. There's no surviving this. Not for me. There is no coming back from this one.
I had been used before. I got over it. I was damaged already, but
This was different. There were too many of them. They were too big. Had I really let my life get this out of control? This time, I had something out there to look forward to. Plans I had made. My second year of college about to start, a semester in London. I had to go. I had to get through this. Face it. This is the end of the road you chose. You put yourself here. Endure it. Get through it. Get over it.
But I knew. In my soul, I knew that I would not get over this. I felt the regret of knowing that my life would end this night. These boys, these very large, very drunk, very stupid young boys would have their way with me, discard me, and move on.
I would not move on. I would not get over this. It's like that moment when you're on the roller coaster and it starts. You know there's no turning back. Whatever is about to happen is out of your control. And you have no choice but to proceed.
I decided then that if my life ended in these woods, it would not be because I couldn't emotionally survive being gang raped. That was too weak. If my life ended in these woods, it would be because I fought to the death not to be gang raped. That was a death I could live with, so to speak. This cannot happen.
Get off the roller coaster. Do whatever you have to do. Reverse the clock. Stop time. This will not happen. There is no other option now.
Decision made. It is simple now.
I fought like I had never fought before. In fact, I had never fought before. I kicked, I punched, I scratched, I bit, I spat, I pulled hair. Only twice was I coordinated enough to land a strike where it really counted in the place that drove them.
But still I fought. I fought, and I fought, and I fought. Inside my mind there was something screaming. It was loud. So loud, like a trapped, enraged animal. So loud I could hear it like thunder or a train roaring through a tunnel. Loud, heart-pounding, blood-rushing, mind screaming.
And I fought. Arms swinging, legs kicking, and I fought. But only a few of them fought back. My terror, my frantic, lunatic-like flame had seemed to wake the rest back to reality.
One of them said something about this being disgusting and walked away, and the other stayed to watch. It was dark.
It was loud. I couldn't make out what they were saying. Random words, bitch, slut, original things like that. Then, someone said, clear as day, someone said, stop it. Just leave her alone. She isn't worth this effort.
And this was heard. One sentence heard above all of the yelling, all of the noise. One sentence heard. I wasn't worth it. One sentence heard, and it was over. That was all it took. Just one of them said stop, and they did. They walked away. All of them. They walked away.
And then stopped. Turned back toward me. My heart stopped with him. I thought, here we go again. And he walked slowly toward me, put his hand over mine, and pulled me to my feet. He helped me up. He glanced at me, at the ground, and walked away, shaking his head. In the brief moment when he looked at me, I saw something that really confused me.
I saw fear. I laughed. I laughed and I laughed. And I laughed. And then that was when the pain started. I was covered in bruises all over my legs, up the sides of my body, mostly over my thighs and my upper arms. I had fingerprints around my arms. My lip was cut and my hip was dislocated.
Although I wouldn't realize that until the next day when the inability to walk would force me to go to a health clinic in town. I made up a story. I never told my mother. I never told my friends.
I never told anyone. Until later. Much later. I never told anyone until I realized that the story was not about something horrible and shameful that had happened to me.
The story was one of liberation. It is about the moment in my life when I decided I would take control of it. The moment when I came to own my body, my will, my life.